Morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Rachel.
Good morning, Mike.
How are you?
Good.
Let's get the screen.
It's good to be back.
Yeah. We were out traveling all around Italy, eating lots of fun food.
Yeah. I was telling them this morning, I don't know if I had a single ounce of protein when we were there. It was all pasta and wine. So it felt wonderful.
It's a good life.
It was awesome.
And I asked, I said, do they have my favorite restaurant, Come and Go? And she said, no, they don't.
No, they do not have a Come and Go in Italy. No.
All right, it's time to meet each other. Look around, see somebody you don't know. If you're online, good morning. Direct message somebody you don't know, meet them. You have 1 minute, go.
Yes. Okay. We used to see each other in the office.
Welcome. We have a lot of affiliates and vendors that help us all kinds of ways throughout we can do most stuff we do without our help.
Oh, not at all. A lot of our events and fun things we get to do around the office is because of the amazing vendor partners that we have in our KW world.
So who do we have in here? I see.
We'll go through it. Adam.
Sure. Adam McGrath with Comparion Insurance Agency. We work with home buyers and help them figure out their insurance options when they buy a house.
Awesome. Anton?
Yes. I'm Anton Kalashnikov. I'm with Community Mortgage Brokers. We have all kinds of mortgage options for all your clients.
Thank you. I think that's all of our vendors today. Light day. 9:27 really got people out of whack.
I know. It'll get adjusted there.
Yeah.
So also a reminder, these are highly sensitive microphones. Anything you're saying in here goes out to the whole interworld. So just be aware of that when you're sitting in here. We like to just make people aware of that so their sounds don't go out all over the place.
Yeah.
Okay. ALC clinic this last week, we had an interesting conversation. Let's say Big KW calls us and says, hey, we've got too many beliefs. We need to get rid of one of these. Which one of these should we get rid of?
0.
That was sort of a conversation. What could you get rid of without the others falling apart? You know, we added equity, what, 2 or 3 years ago?
Yep.
Can you imagine not having equity in here now? So that was an interesting conversation we had was, what could we get rid of and still be the KW we know? And we really can. That's the cool thing is everything we do links together to something else. So I thought that was kind of a cool way to look at it.
I tried to wear the black hat in the conversation. I said, well, if we had to pick one, I think I said maybe trust because I believe integrity was kind of the same thing.
Yep.
And you would have thought I had just like said something crazy. And Drew was like, whoa, let's have this conversation right now. So it was a really fun conversation of just how so much of our ecosystem blends together and you can't have one without the other. However, it made for a very fun conversation.
It really was. Yeah. Rachel was trying to get rid of honesty. And we're like, what?
But I thought integrity. I was like, if you're integrous, then it's kind of the same thing. And no, it was not.
So speaking of culture, we do have a culture winner each week, don't we?
We do. And Carrie Tennis was our last week's winner. Carrie, do you want to come up here and present?
She does.
Woohoo! Go, Carrie.
Got a little.
I love when people win and they want to come up and present.
Yes.
You should do it more.
Yeah, you should.
While you're coming up, let's recognize one more affiliate that's walking in.
Christina.
Oh, please. I'm Christina Ferrante with 417 Home Loans, # Living Lady for Life.
Awesome. Good morning. So first, I just want to say how humbly grateful I am to have been chosen to win this. This is super special. It also just makes you know that you're in the right place in the right home. And so when I was trying to think about who I would choose for this week, guys, I wanted to choose everybody. Like, I've not met a single person that has not just been lovely, helpful, willing to go above and beyond. And so that's a true testament to Keller Williams. But Rachel and Mike wouldn't let me choose everyone. Like, I want to choose you all.
We don't have enough of these.
So they said no. They absolutely just told me no. So
In a loving way.
in a
Right.
And a TCPA compliant way.
Yeah, there you go.
That's true. So the person that I've chosen, you cannot be in this person's presence without having a smile on your face. They, every single time I'm with them, they go above and beyond. They always are reaching out, checking on you, being willing to give you an extra hand, always just really being present when you're with them. And so I chose Miss Elise Ellis. You know, she's all things KW culture and a truly amazing person on top of all of that. So,
Is that why you're asking if I was going to team meeting?
well, maybe,
Yes, no,
How do you
maybe
get
so.
through here?
maybe a little bit, but you are so deserving.
Yep, go ahead. And I'll give you your little.
Oh, you're welcome.
I can put it by your computer.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
I may.
Or in your car.
Pin him to the.
There you go.
You know what? We should Velcro the bottom, and you can put it in your car on the dashboard as you drive around all week.
Kind of like Jeeps have like ducks in them.
Yes, or a magnet that goes on the roof. Okay, maybe not. All right, moving on to the broker moment. Jim, what do we have?
I was talking to Rachel earlier, it's just the normal stuff we get from the board saying, don't do this, don't do that kind of stuff, but nothing else. Everything's been good. She's got some other things she's going to talk about, which are broker related, so I'll let her have it.
Yeah, so for those of you that know or don't know, there is a lawsuit going on with NAR right now, and it's actually happening this week in Kansas City. So there is a lot of things that is happening and we're trying to navigate as we come through. Some companies like RE/MAX have already settled with this lawsuit. Keller Williams has not. So Keller Williams can't really say much other than some certain talking points that they do have. I actually have a one-page sheet that they shared with me yesterday that I'm going to post on the internal page that talks about those different talking points. And that's really all that they can say right now because they are still going through the lawsuits this week as we're speaking. So Gary Keller himself is flying into Kansas City to be a part of these lawsuits. And we actually have some people that we have known that are also a part of it as well. So with that being said, once I get these talking points posted, we'll start having these conversations in team meeting because I think it's a very important conversation that we need to have that you're probably not hearing elsewhere. And for the most part, if it's happening, I want to make sure that you have the information that Keller Williams International is giving us directly so you can hear what we're hearing directly from our source as well. So with this, in the lawsuit, it's an antitrust lawsuit. I think you guys, if you haven't seen it, it's on Inman or probably anywhere that you're a part of. And it talks about buyer's agent's commission and how that is potentially going to affect everything. One of the big key points is if you do not get a buyer agency contract before you go show a property, you need to do that. Like I'm gonna say, I know half and half. There's probably.
Wait, we're supposed to do what we tell people to do?
Oh, I know. And right, like I get it. Like there are times that people say, I want to go show this property and you don't have it. I totally understand real life, kind of like real estate school. I understand what happens on a real estate like testing standpoint and what actually happens in real life scenario. But this is one of the things that you will have to do to protect yourself moving forward. So before you go out and you show any property, get a buyer agency contract in place for that portion of it. So I will get those talking points posted today to allow everybody to have time to look over those. And then at team meeting, start expecting us to start having conversations around that. So you can be fully educated for that. Yes, Matt.
Where do you see things going in your opinion?
I don't know if I really want to say, honestly. I think there's so much that could change. And I think it's one of the hard things that there's going to be a trial, and as agents within Keller Williams that are having to testify to essentially stand up for buyer's agents, I think it's one of those things that may get decided. Our hands are a little tied when other companies are already settling. And I think we still have a good chance. So I don't know if I have a very big stance on it because also when I know dealing in law and other cases I've been involved in, just because I believe one way is going to happen or should happen doesn't mean it always plays out that way too. So
The one thing I've heard, and this was from the NAR meeting I was at in Chicago, whichever side wins, The other side's gonna appeal it.
Mhm.
This is gonna be a 3 or 4 year process.
Mhm.
So just make sure we're doing the right things. We'll have the right things. And the reason KW is standing up and not settling is because we're standing up for property rights. That is the bottom line of it. This is the best, the way we've got it is the best way for buyers and sellers. And that's the stance. It's not anything about our commissions. It's about what's right for people. But again, either way, it's gonna be a long process. We'll just adjust and winners find a way. We'll always find a way to be successful with things.
I just wanted to thank you guys for bringing light to this, and as a lender, I only know about this because I go to things at the board and I'm involved with that association. No one else in the entirety of Flat Branch knew anything about this lawsuit. So you guys as realtors, it's very important to tell your lender partners about this, because if you don't know, you don't know. So thank you for that, and I encourage all of you, no matter who your lender partner is, all of us need to be on the same page, because this could potentially change everything for all of us.
And thank you for saying that. It's, and the thing is, not a lot of real estate companies are also talking about this too. Like, this is where it needs to be a conversation, especially if agents don't go to the board and hear it from the board perspective. And so that's why we want to make sure we're talking about it here. And with the talking points provided to us, that is coming directly from KWRI. And so we're going to lean on them to continue to receive those. I'm hoping after this week or maybe next week, we can get an update from what's happened and what's developed. But right now they're starting the thick of it. And so we'll see what goes on.
Yep. All right, on to more important local things that, not more important, but locally important things. Let me say it the right way.
Things that we can maybe control.
That's right. So here's the numbers for the week. The one big thing that stood out to me was on North counties, which is Cedar, Dade, Dallas, Hickory, Laclede, Polk, and St. Clair. There were 9 closings this last week in all those counties. So the people who in spring kept saying, oh, it's back to normal market, they're finally starting to see it. And the thing we've been telling you all forever, other agents are now going, oh my gosh, this is real. We're like, yeah. So it's going to slow down, but there's still a mindset of abundance. Just because some people are having a slower year doesn't mean we need to. If you keep doing the right things, if you keep doing your lead generation and stay in touch with your people, you'll keep doing fine with it. Another interesting number, let me get to the next page. Did it go? It did.
Yep.
Okay. SOMO this week had 394 new listings hit. SOMO last year this week, 399. We're within 5 of what was going on last year. It is becoming, so what we're seeing now is almost a mirror of last year going on. GSBR wise, it's still a little bit different, 228 new listings compared to 242 last year. But I think we're going to see a lot more of the numbers of this year matching last year. Yes, sir.
You can obviously see if you're not matching pending or closed from last year.
What they do?
63 on the closed and 44 on the pending. So yeah, we got the listings, but the buyers are looking at the interest rates and going, you know, should I wait 2 years?
And I've seen a lot of conversations about, oh my gosh, I've had this listing for 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the way it used to be. That gives you time to market it and help get the word out more and help get more buyers in. So just realize it's back to what was kind of normal. In fact, this was another thing here. We're up to 1,457 active listings. And as I scan through this Monday morning, I think that's the highest we've had since COVID. And the gray numbers were when I was just starting to do this. And so those are not accurate because that was just new listings that didn't have the pendings worked into it. So, but if you look back to 2019, we had some weeks there with, where was it? 1,800, 1,700. We're getting closer to the way it was before COVID. And this number keeps going up each week. So remember last year, we were like, oh my gosh, there's more than 1,000 listings to choose from. And now we're staying around 1,400, and I'm guessing it'll keep going up for the, but that's the weird thing. This time of year, it normally goes down. So we're going to see what happens with it, but the numbers just are curious to watch the things. But you need to know them so you can talk with your clients.
And 2019 were a lot of our agents' best years in real estate they've ever had,
yeah,
to put that in perspective. So going back to 2019 is not a bad thing. A lot of us as a market center, we're comparing our numbers to 2019 as well. And a lot of our agents are too, as what had happened for them.
Okay, realtor slides for the week. Again, you get these every Sunday nights. We don't go through a lot of them, but Rob Seiner was named a member of the Leadership Academy for this year.
Awesome.
So give him a round of applause. A lot of great people in that list. So and the Leadership Academy is what you get into if you're looking at going into some leadership things in the board. So this is like the first step of it. So really proud for Rob to be in that. You got this slide. I think I posted in the intro page too. This is a video that shows you the stats. That is real. That is GSBOR stats. That is not SOMO. That is not KW. So you should have gotten that in your email Sunday night too. This is a cool event coming up. What day is that? 19th. That's in 2 days. On Reels and social media. I think social media is here to stay. I'm not sure, but I think it's going to be around some. So this is going to be a great thing hosted by YPN, which is a lot of our people. And OPN's old professional network people can be there also. So Fall Appraiser panel. Destiny, anything you want to say on that?
No, get registered. It's over at the board next week. So Q&A, and we're going to present on property data collectors. A lot of people don't know what that is. So
What is it?
property data collectors.
Oh, that's the new trend coming, correct?
It's a new program that Fannie has.
Okay. You need to be aware of these things so you can help. The thing I love about learning from appraisers is that helps you price things the way they're going to have to look at it. So go to these clinics every time you get them, sign up for that. Also, the GSBR holiday party is November 30th. It is at the White River Room. There's going to be a big band playing. There's going to be a dance afterwards with a DJ. So it's a lot of fun. Somebody gets installed as president at that thing. So I'd appreciate it if you're there. It's going to be a big party.
In case you're wondering who somebody is.
Yeah. So it's going to be a fun party though. White River Room. If you haven't been there, it is gorgeous at Christmas. So you'll enjoy that. All right. Here's the calendar for the month. Lots going on. We have flu shots today. In fact, over at the table, these are the forms you need to have filled out to do the flu shots. You could either take it now and do it, or if you're coming then, you just got to have it done before you get here. So there's a bunch here, there's a bunch over there. Rachel, tell us about what you're adding for tomorrow.
Well, first off, tomorrow is MREA Business Planning Clinic. So a lot of you are at the follow-up. So we had our clinic last week. We're going to do a follow-up tomorrow. I've only had one person fill out the survey. So my thought was, anybody that attended business planning clinic, based on your economic goals of what you're wanting to accomplish next year, and based on your lead generation sources, we were going to create pods and do more masterminds based on the one-pagers in the MREA playbook, and really kind of dive deep into what the strategies you created are. I've only had one person fill it out, so it's going to be a very lonely mastermind. However, you're still more than welcome to show up, and we can figure it out as we go. Nothing like pivoting. However, we've had the class, right? We now understand what the 4 models are in the MRA. Now it's to turn those ahas into action and really create a plan going into next year. It's mid-October. It is now or never to start finalizing our business plan going into 2024. We don't want to start January 1 and just say, okay, now it's new year, I'm going to start. We should really, after November 15th, we're already into 2024. So we need to be more proactive and get into that. So tomorrow at 11 a.m. down in the training center.
Dave Brousseau, our regional manager, tells a story of 2 years in a row. He's sitting at Christmas as his kiddos opening Christmas presents. And the thought in his mind is, I have no closings lined up for January. And that's a pretty rough spot to be. We don't want you to be there. So we want to help you get a plan going. So that from January on, you have stuff lined up for the whole year.
Yep.
But he told that story. Just imagine that. You're sitting there, you should be enjoying what's going on Christmas. And you're thinking, nothing's coming in because I have not done it yet.
Yeah. So please join us even if you didn't fill out the survey. Love for you to fill it out though, so I can be a little bit more intentional within that.
And it's on the link for the interweb people.
Perfect. Couple of other things. One, tomorrow night. So I don't know if y'all have seen my Facebook post, but the biggest thing that I feel like I've been missing in the last 6 to 9 months is community. And in my video, I mentioned specifically among other females, whether they're business owners or whatever their venture is. So tomorrow night from 6 to 7:30, I have at least 20 people saying that they're going to attend. Meeting down here in the training center, really just to start creating that community among other female leaders. So I would love for you all to join or share it with anybody. I have a wide mix of people in all different industries and different paths that I know them in. So I would love for you to be a part of that as well. So I'm extending that invite out. And then the other things on the calendar. So we have Jim's contracts class, free headshots on Thursday. The other things going into next week, admin mastermind. Jen Wolf is actually in Austin. So if you have an admin, they are going over all of the operations playbooks. And so she's going to come and teach an admin mastermind based what she learned in Austin. Even if you don't have an admin and you want to kind of learn what those operation playbooks are, you're more than welcome to join us on that Thursday. And then we have our chili cook-off.
Thank you. What is that, Jen, who?
Jen Wolf, Evan Deschamps. Director of Operations. Yep.
Okay.
So she's in Austin learning from Nicole Zuber on the operations playbooks that they have created for that community. And so she's going to come back and share that in Admin Mastermind with us. Yep.
So tell us about the Halloween events. It's a three-way event going on.
Yeah, so we have a chili cook-off, a trunk or treat, and a costume contest. So what's happened in years past, if you have this awesome chili recipe, or if you're Paulina and you have pickle soup and you want to put it in as a chili, totally okay, because it's absolutely delicious. You're more than welcome to create that. We have little cups out. Everyone can vote. All the money that we raise will go to Springfield Cares, which is our local charity that we have here under the Market Center umbrella. We have a costume contest, so feel free to dress up however you would like. Last year, the leadership team was G Suite. So everybody was a different aspect of G Suite, but then we had like chains, like, because we're, you know, rappers, whatever. It was funny then. But whatever you want to do. So feel free. We'd love to just be able to have all of our agents. And this is more of a community social event, right? So the big thing about KW is what I hear a lot of the time is I don't want to feel like just a number, and I don't want to feel like I'm lost in a large group of agents. Come to events like this, meet with our agents. There's no reason you should feel like that. What I always tell agents, the more you put into KW, the more you will get out of it. So the more you show up and you meet other agents, you will find that community and you won't feel lost. So please come to this, even if you don't want to do chili, even if you don't want to dress up, and even if you don't want to like have like, what is it? Oh, the trunk or treat. Yeah. Come, it's okay. And you can bring your kids.
How do we do the trunk or treat?
Nicole, how do we do the trunk or treat?
Well, typically in years past, it has rained on this event, but this year we are going to try and have it in our parking lot, just kind of close to those front doors. So that way people can go out there and then come on inside and enjoy some chili.
Very cool.
Cool.
Weather's going to cooperate.
And there is a sign up form for all of that, correct?
It's on there already.
Okay.
She's amazing with the sign up forms. Okay, team meeting wise, we are on today the new KW website, which we'll be getting to. Our guest speaker will be hopping on here in a couple seconds with us. But you can see next week is tax strategies, how to get set up to end this year and get ready for next year. And then October 31st, we won't have one because of the Greater Heartland Summit, which we're going to talk about right here. Mm-hmm. So in fact, I'm wearing the new Greater Heartland t-shirt. I sort of absconded with it from the event the other day. With permission. But this is a regional mega camp. So those of you that have wanted to go to Austin and couldn't make that trip, it is in Branson. And it keeps adding. So these are our main keynote speakers. But then down here, we have Carrie Wersch going to be speaking, Dan Holt, Paulina Nabar. So this is all people from our region. And here's the schedule of it. So Sunday night, and this is at the Hilton Landing, Hilton on Branson Landing. The Convention Center. So there's a welcome party. That's more for the people because our region is
5 states.
Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, Iowa, and Nebraska. So those people are all coming down early to go to the party. Even if you can't make the party, the Monday is the big thing. There's all kinds of stuff. There's the market update is our regional info. Market Game Changers is a speakers group. KW Mom Bosses, where mompreneurs thrive. Mom entrepreneurs. That one's cool. It's people who are killing it as a mom. That doesn't sound good. And killing it in the real estate world. Should watch my words on that. But you'll see all these different classes. Julia Lachey Israel is going to be incredible. One of my favorite speakers. I've had some classes with her. And then Tuesday morning is a mastermind, Winning Through Uncertainty with Sam Goodwin. And then When Entrepreneurs Thrive, what's next? It's done by noon. So those of you that have Halloween stuff that night, you can still get back in time. If you can't do the Tuesday, the Monday's worth it. But this is right in our backyard. Tickets are, you can scan it. Let me go to the next screen. The QR code, or I think Nicole's already put it online. This is going to be incredible, and it's 40 minutes away rather than an 8-hour plane flight and getting stuck in Dallas and weather and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. The reason why we're bringing Bold and we're lucky to have the Greater Heartland Summit is the market is changing. And think about how many of our agents haven't been in this real estate market that we're going through or about to go through. And this is why it's so important to come to events like this. And you can't get into a spot of just saying, I know what's going on and I know how to navigate it, because things are always changing. What happened in the market now versus 2 weeks ago is completely different as well. And days in market have changed. And what does those conversations and expectations look like with your clients? That's why it's always important to come to training events like this to not only just like refine your skills, but also learn from other people in our region who are navigating it as well. And we used to be in a speed-based market to where it's go, 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 manage and just try to get it done. Now it's a skill-based market where your conversations, your expectations are really what's important. It's what's going to help keep these deals together.
So how many people have been to family reunion or mega camp before? Great. And how many of you come away from that with a high and you're excited and you're motivated, and after a while that goes away? You know why? Because we as humans leak. We fill ourselves up and then we leak out, and you got to fill it up again. Okay, seriously, think of it that way.
The analogies are on point today.
This is a way to fill your bucket again. Come to this thing, get filled up to get you through November, December, and then you're gonna start leaking again before family reunion. That's why you got to keep in connection with people and do stuff. And by the way, back on calendar, I forgot something.
Because how many people say, or you've heard someone say, in November and December, the market just slows down and there's no business?
No.
The market doesn't slow down. You choose to slow down. And that's okay if it's a conscious decision, or is it more of just subconsciously that's what you're hearing and that's what you're choosing to make happen?
On my behalf, it gets really cold that time of year, so
yeah,
it slows me down.
Okay, well, I get it. I get it.
How many of you see Miracle on 34th Street? They get a house on Christmas. Houses are still selling, okay? All year long, you can do it. Okay, I jump back here because there's something missing on this calendar. There's nothing showing on this Friday. Isn't there something going on Friday? Don't you have something you're going to?
Oh, well, yeah, but that's not important.
Yes, it is. Rachel's getting recognized as one of the most outstanding women in the area by Springfield Business Journal.
What's going on?
So that's an event this Friday. I think I don't even know where it is. Is it?
It's at the DoubleTree.
DoubleTree. So we are so proud of what she does for us, for the community. She's an amazing person. So I wanted to say that. Okay, jumping on.
Are you sweating, Rachel?
Yeah, you just made me sweat because I was like, what's Friday? I don't know. Not on the calendar. Yeah, I know. Where's my calendar?
Okay, then after this event, Greater Heartland Summit, you're going to leak out again. You got to come to family reunion. Okay, it is February 25th through 29th. We're going to take a giant group and we're going to go to the Sphere. You all have seen that? The Market Center's paying for it. No, not really. The Sphere is this giant dome thing that U2's doing a residency there. Look for this thing on YouTube. It's insane what this thing does. But anyway, family reunion is going to be incredible. They're about to announce a guest speaker, correct?
Yeah, so they have 2 keynote speakers coming in. They have created a huge buzz about this. I have zero idea who it's going to be. I know one of the keynote speakers, they spent over $150,000 just to bring them in. KW has realized that they want to create or bring back the excitement of these events. And so it's going to be really interesting to see who these keynote speakers are. After we saw Tim Tebow, I don't know how they're going to top it.
I know who it is. It's Taylor Swift.
And Travis.
And Travis.
Yeah.
And Travis.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So I knew some of you would not like that. I don't want any bad blood going. Okay. Okay. Quit trying to be the anti-hero. It's going to be Taylor.
He's been waiting on for this all time. He's been playing in our office all the time, little Taylor Swift.
Oh, come on, I got to shake it off.
Okay.
So we don't know who it is right now. They've just got a blank space, so it will be figured out.
And it continues.
I need to calm down.
Okay.
Okay, going on. Nicole, what do you have for Tech World for us?
Yeah.
I actually don't have anything today because we have an amazing speaker that's going to talk about what is our big updates. I did kind of want to talk about, you were talking about the, the leaking of your buckets and stuff like that. I also think of it as a fire. So, you know, go to these events. It helps reignite your fire and kind of put that fire underneath you and your business. So I really, like, if you can make it to that, to our Greater Heartland Summit, highly, highly recommend, because it's so close. But yeah, I wanted to just say, you know, our next speaker is amazing, and he is going to show you guys websites and what it can do for your business, because it is awesome, you guys. It's so easy for you, and it really helps, you know, getting those leads, doing blogs, featuring your listings, all of it. So I'm really excited for our next speaker.
Okay. Nicole, who did you just help with their website that you were kind of surprised about?
Rhett Smiley.
Rhett Smiley said it was easy, y'all.
He sure did.
We know it's easy.
Okay, Nicole, is Tim Beverlin on yet?
I do not see him.
Okay, so while we're waiting for him to come on, make sure you've got your computer or your notes. So here's the thing. You have a KW website. It's like yourname.kw.com. And it's basically been just a generic page. You're going to be able to customize it, but any landing pages you've had before will not transfer over. So you've got to make sure if you've got landing pages, and some old parts like me don't have any because we don't, but you've got to make sure you get those things migrated over or saved before you do that. But go ahead and get your stuff ready, because he's going to talk us through how to get this thing set up. One of the cool things, I don't know if he'll have time to talk with it, so I'll go into this for a second. If you're doing an open house, even for another agent, you pull up that open house in your website, and it becomes your sign-in page at your open house, either on your tablet, your computer. So when they come in, instead of having a sign-in sheet, you have your device open. In fact, Chris Day has this cool stand.
Oh yeah.
He has
the setup.
Yeah,
sure.
so it's like so as you walk in the front door, it's a stand with his tablet on there. And so they can sign in right there on it. Mm-hmm. But the minute they sign in, they go into your database marked as a lead and marked as that open house. Mm-hmm. So this is going to streamline a lot of different things on there.
And the whole point of all of this technology is to help make everyone's lives easier. And so Nicole actually has a spreadsheet. So the first initiative was, how do we get everybody to 201 plus contacts? We now have a spreadsheet that will tell us which agents have more than 201 plus contacts. So if you don't, you will be getting a phone call from Nicole. However, it's as simple as loading your phone contacts into Command, and it takes 5 minutes, if that. And so how many of us have so much contact information, or maybe you have somebody's contact information, but it says the property that they called on? I know some of y'all save contacts like that. I've heard it. But it's just different ways like that will sync to your Command, and using your app like that, it will help streamline and make everything so much easier. So you have to take less guesswork out of that.
We need to remind them why the 201 number was so important.
Yeah, Nicole, tell us why 201 plus is so important.
Yeah, so there's actually statistics that KWRI ran that says if you have over 201 plus contacts in your database and you have them on one smart plan, then you can earn an average of $119,000 in GCI.
So that's our goal, is get everyone here making at least that much money each year. So 119,000, is that what she said?
119, yep.
So that's why if you have the 201 and you do things with them, you can't just put them in there and then set it and forget it, except you put them on a smart plan, but you've got to be personally making sure you're reaching out to them also.
There he is. He's in the waiting room now.
Yay! So Tim's actually he's our coach.
Yeah.
He's, you know what? We'll go over all of his info here.
Yeah, let's start introducing him while he hops on.
Okay, so Tim Beverlin is a MAPS coach. He is the Bermuda Tech Trainer. If you're going to be a tech trainer, why not be Bermuda?
Yeah.
By the way, did you know your KW app, you can search for houses anywhere in the world? Because when I realized, hey, if he does Bermuda, I pulled up Bermuda on the app and I can see what houses are for sale there through our own KW app. So you hear about, MLS, GSBRs, or Somos MLS, or nationwide ones, or we already have a worldwide MLS through KW. So it's kind of cool. I actually have a search going right below Disney World for me. So every time a house pops up there, I get a notification. So it's amazing. But he is the Bermuda Tech Trainer.
He is an Eagles fan.
He's an Eagles fan.
Don't discount him for that, though. At least he's one of the Kelsey brothers, right?
That's right. Prior to becoming a KW MAPS head coach, Tim served as team leader for multiple top 25 market centers. He's been a licensed real estate agent for 19 years. Tim is a KW approved trainer and has been an investor in Keller Williams market centers. And he's an awesome guy. So Tim, are you on?
I am on. Boy, does that make me uncomfortable hearing that introduction. So thank you, except for the Eagles part. Yeah. I'm pretty proud about that part. You probably saw both Travis and Jason were at the Phillies game last night. So
They were.
Really?
I think we're slowly trying to recruit Travis away. I'm just going to start that rumor right now on this call.
Nicole, have we given Tim co-host capabilities so he can screen share?
I believe you have to do that.
Okay,
great.
all you. And Tim, before you got on, I did announce that Taylor Swift will be the guest speaker at Family Reunion for the year, so.
Perfect. That's 100% probably not true, and yet we'll go with it. We'll take whatever we can take out of that.
Perfect.
Okay, so everybody make sure you got your tablets up. Tim's gonna walk through some of the basics of the change, but then he can also answer some questions too.
Great. And I know we got great support. Nicole is well aware of all these changes as well. So you're going to have plenty of support after this. I just got a little bit of a head start having to go through this a few times with Agent Sites and what our changes have been. So first question for the group, what's the purpose of a website?
Attract business.
All right, say that again. I'm sorry. My audio is
Attract business.
Attract business. Great. Awesome. What's the purpose of your site for a client?
Top of mind awareness.
Access to your resources.
Okay, resources, top of mind awareness. What else? Yeah, Tim, thank you. Popped in the chat box to search properties. So great call. Like part of what we're looking at today is how do we provide an environment whereby getting information as a client becomes really easy, so that it's an easy choice for them to stay in your ecosystem, stay in your world to get access to information. This may not be a popular statement, what I'm about to say, and yet I'm an Eagles fan, so I can't help myself. We at times become a roadblock for clients in their minds, not in ours. But like we're the keeper of information at times. And I get it. There's more and more places they can go. So part of what we're going to look at is how do I make it easy for somebody in my world to find information so that they choose to stay on my site? Now, your answer in the beginning was exactly right. The purpose is to grow my business, grow my database, and then to provide a high level of resources for those that are already in my world. So quick raise of hands, who's already transitioned to the new Agent Sites? Always in the back. All the tech people in the back, hiding out back there that have done the transition. Okay, and I see some hands popping up as well. Great. So we've had a few transition over. I'm going to maybe start this a little bit different and just kind of prep those that haven't for things that you may need to know prior to making this transition. So we're going to start actually with the end in mind. Here's what your site will look like after the transition. And I'll give it a second as I see my screens loading. There we go. Cool part about being able to see both the audience and myself on screen is I can kind of see what's up on your screen. So here's the end result and kind of what this new experience looks like. If you want to compare it for those of you that have already switched over, the previous version, I'm using this with permission, is one of my friends in Bermuda has allowed me to use their old site. And you can kind of see the differences in maybe the simplicity of the old version versus the new version. So we're going to bounce back and forth between the two so that for those of you that haven't yet transitioned, you can see what to do to be in that transition process. And then for those of you that have, what do I do next? I'm going to ask one other thing. If you've got questions, Mike, is it okay? Or Rachel, is it okay if they just yell them out?
Yes.
Please.
Perfect. We're not in the classroom, so just yell them out. I even see somebody wearing Eagles green, but I'm just going to keep that comment to myself as well, right in the front row. So thank you for that today. All right, we're going to keep going. All right, so bringing it back into my agent experience. So I'm in my command right now. And because I've already made this transition, when I navigate down to consumer, it's going to look and feel a little bit different. I can see now that I can manage my site and I get different settings. So I thought maybe a good place for us to start is, what does it look like before I do this? So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to log in with permission to someone else's account and reshare. All right, so now I'm in that same account for my good friend Belcario, who has not yet transitioned. He's still in the previous version of Agent Sites. Going to go to the same place and I'm going to navigate down to consumer. And for those of you that haven't transitioned, yours is going to look something like this. You'll have different pages. You'll have different landing pages. And I'm going to give you kind of a starting place. The starting place would be go to your landing pages and take a look. Are there any of these pages that I'm already or actively using? The reason behind this, when I make the transition, I no longer have access to create a standalone landing page for the time being. So for the time being, the ability to create a standalone landing page doesn't exist in the new experience. So just by yelling it out, what's the number one reason those of you that are using Command and that are using landing pages, what are you using them for?
Testimonials.
Testimonials? Great.
Yeah.
Did I hear open houses in there?
Facebook ads.
Facebook ads. Okay. You're also using it for Facebook ads. Great. And we're going to show you some ways. There are still ways to navigate through Facebook ads as well, and for testimonials. So we can still capture testimonials. We can still put out testimonials.
Lead capture in the search or in the chat somebody put in.
Okay. Lead capture. Yeah. And I think what we've heard, or what the team heard, by the way, I didn't build any of this. So if you don't like it, sorry, I'm just the provider of information. Mike built it, I think, if I'm being honest. So going through this is, what we found is that open house sign-in was one of the top reasons people were using landing pages, and we can still do that. So again, back to this, if there's any of these things that you want to use, you can still, for now, copy and paste the URL and have that in a notepad or have that somewhere else. Because once we make this transition, I'm no longer going to have access to edit. I'm no longer going to have any access to use these pages. Any questions on that before we keep going? Okay. All right. So back to consumer. I see right across the top, I get an option to upgrade my agent site. I get this option here to upgrade my website as well. And the first question it's going to ask me is, do I like my URL? This particular account has a URL of belcario.kw.com. That's his first name. And I can keep that, or I can choose to change it. By the way, I can make a change even after I do this as well. So I do get some options in there.
So Tim,
go ahead.
Like if it's like me, for example, it's got my name, I could change it to the team name, correct?
That would be a time in which I can make that change to a team name. Just be aware that if I have marketing anywhere that exists that has belcario.kw.com and I intend on keep using that, I probably don't want to make that change.
Okay.
If I'm not marketing anywhere, great. Now I can make that change to whatever site is available. Once I've done that, now I'm going to shift over. I'm not going to upgrade Belcario's account for us today. It takes just a second to click that button. So I'm going to go back into mine so you can see kind of what this looks like. Fun fact, can't be logged into 2 Command accounts at the same time from the same device. So here we go, back into my account. So now I can get into actually updating and making changes to my agent site experience. You see that I do still have the option to change that URL or that subdomain. I can make that change right here in the center and save those changes if available. So if I wanted to put like homes.kw.com, that's probably not going to be available. And the moment I click save changes, I can see it's invalid. That's its quick search to let me know if that's available or not. So we're just going to keep timb.kw.com. One note, if I were to change my subdomain here and make it something different, timb.kw.com would become available for someone else at that moment. So if you've got a great subdomain, you've got what you want, awesome, keep it. Probably no reason to make a change unless you've added a team or you've expanded your business, or maybe you've moved from another area and you've changed what you want as your subdomain. Continuing down, my app URL settings haven't changed. I will get into the preferences. Do I want to have Keller Home Loans displayed? I can enable that. Do I want Keller Covered enabled or disabled? Do I want neighborhoods enabled or disabled? That's where I get to make those changes.
Can you talk about what are neighborhoods?
Neighborhoods are sub areas in my site that would be defined by Nextdoor.
Okay.
my own experience, and Nicole can chime in here too. I don't see an advantage or disadvantage necessarily to disabling them. Yet, me personally, I've kept them enabled because I have enough people in my world that do search by neighborhood. And I've got enough people in my world that search by neighborhoods outside of the area that I have a license. So it's either on or off. Even my friends in Bermuda, they do now have the ability to search by neighborhood. And in their case, the neighborhood is a parish. I do need to save changes if I make them along the way, and then I get a little green success banner up here at the top. All right, moving on to forced registration. No changes here, just like it exists on the previous version. Do I want unrestricted, meaning they can view as many properties as they want, never prompted to log in, 10 properties before they're asked to log in, 2 properties before they're asked to register or log in, or no property viewing. Somewhere in here is the best solution for you. You can change it at any time. What I'm finding most common is unrestricted or probably 2 properties before they're asked to create an account. And again, you can talk in a mastermind and determine what's best for you. All right, what we really want to get, oh, go ahead. Is there a question?
When they create an account, then they become a lead in your database, correct?
Great point there, Mike. So the moment that they choose to register, I will get a bell notification and they do become a lead inside of Command. All right, where we really wanted to look today was, now that I have the new site, what can I do? What's different? What's changed? Whole different experience. It looks completely different. The easiest place that I found to start is to scroll down and edit these pages. So I get some default pages. Yes, I can do a blog post or quick start with an image. Here's my testimonials. I can add videos. I can add a video through YouTube as well if I would choose to. But we are just going to start with that first page, which is Contact Me. When I click on it, I can make some changes. So I can change right at the top. What do I want that title to be? And I'll have that change here on the right-hand side where it says to contact me. Maybe I want to change that for faster service. Anytime I do that, I'm going to see the eyeball have a little swirl around it, and then it lets me know that it is saving along the way. Once it's saved, I can see real time it's made that update to my site. So if you're on timb.kw.com right now, you're going to see these changes happen in real time. When I'm done, I still click save. And that's the only change I can really make to that portion. I'm going to go back and go to the next page. Next page will be my blog posts. So what blog posts do I have on here? And I get some default pages in here. It'll default some blog posts in here that are already created. I didn't write any of these. Probably don't want to spend my time writing blog posts. For some of you, you may choose to do so, and I can make changes to that. When I click on the actual blog post itself, then I get some options. What do I want to call my blog area? This one by default says take it from our experts. Do I want it to alter through the various blog posts that are available? Do I want to have a more advanced search? Do I want a basic blog post? Do I want to show this at all? Do I want to turn it off? Do I want to move some things around? I get a lot of options in here for what I want to show up as my various blog posts. And again, I didn't write any of these. They're just simply available. I can add some more if I choose to, and we're expecting this library to keep expanding on what blog posts I can put in here. For now, again, we've kind of already talked about this. I probably don't have a lot of people coming to my world to read a generic blog post, yet I may be a local expert and want to talk about what's happening in Springfield. Maybe I also serve Branson and I want to put what's happening in Branson. Maybe I want to dedicate a whole section to what it's like to attend a Chiefs game. What time do I need to leave Springfield in order to get there? I could do that by building out a blog post. Questions so far? Are we good? Good. Okay. I'm just going to go back. I'm not going to make these changes. Get to our next page, which is, interestingly enough, the home page. Your order might be a little bit different as you go through this. And now I get a lot of options for that homepage experience. All I have to do is click on the section to pop up the various modals. So the first thing it's going to pop up is start your search here. I could change that. Your global. Your global search starts here. Takes just a moment. It's going to save. And then I see the update here in the center. When I scroll down, I get some images. So I think that the Philadelphia market, or certainly the suburbs of the Philadelphia market and Springfield, are going to look somewhat similar. Similar styles of homes, similar interiors, similar exteriors. If I'm serving an urban environment like downtown Philadelphia, I'm probably going to put different images in. They're going to scroll through the background than I am if I'm serving more of a rural environment. For some of you, maybe you also service land plots or farms or areas of estates that you want to put on here. I can add different images in here or upload my own that are just going to scroll through the background as you kind of see them filtering through right now. So this is a combination, of course, of real estate and lifestyle images that I'm seeing right now, yet I can change that to whatever images that I have the rights to put on there. So big footnote, make sure you have the rights to do so.
Also, how many pictures is a preferred number on a scroll like that?
I found 3 to 5. 3 is, yep, go ahead.
So rights to use, in other words, don't, any pictures you take, you could probably use, but if it's a copyright image or something, just be cautious, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I can't put the Eagles background on here because I don't own the rights to that. Yet I could go take a photograph of maybe my neighborhood or of a building that I own that photograph, and I could put that in there. So just use an abundance of caution there in making sure that you have the rights to use that image. And then there are plenty of default ones in here. I didn't take any of these photos. All right, next is my featured properties. So this was a little interesting the first time I went through this. It defaulted to some bizarre geographic area that I don't serve. It was the middle of New Jersey that popped up. Nothing against New Jersey per se, yet it just popped up an odd location. So if I want to have featured properties, I can look at this from a geographic area. So what I've chosen is I just picked up a property address in the town that I live. I want to show a maximum number of 10 within a 20-mile radius. I've chosen to look by recently updated. And then just for fun, I added one outside of my area. So I picked this property from New York that I added in as an additional featured property. And this ends up being the carousel at the bottom, kind of middle of my homepage of my website. So maybe part of my value proposition as an agent is when you list with me, you're going to be featured on the homepage of my site where I drive a lot of traffic. So I can pick my own listings, or if I'm an agent that maybe doesn't currently have listings, I can use a dynamic approach and pick an area. It is going to put listings that are KW listings as well as non-KW listings. It's just going to navigate through them. So what does this look like? Here we go. We've got some properties that are in here. I'm going to pick this particular property. And when I click on it, this is that New York property that I'm not licensed in New York. This is not even a KW listing. I can see the listing is courtesy of Hunt ERA and Kelly Hayes. Yet if somebody goes to contact me about information, it's going to come in as a lead to me. So I'm utilizing broker reciprocity. Go ahead, Mike.
That's all compliant because it's through an MLS data feed, correct?
Correct. This is all through an MLS data feed. And to Mike's point, anywhere in the world. So let's just pick Paget, Bermuda.
This is cool. Like I said, I started searching through Bermuda properties.
And I like to look at this to see how little I can afford in Bermuda as real estate. Again, I can choose one of their properties inside of the parish of Paget. And if I click contact me for more information, again, this lead is going to come to me, even though I'm not a licensed agent in the country of Bermuda. So you truly do have global presence.
And then you could set up a referral if someone's very interested, and you could line them up with an agent down there.
Correct. Interestingly enough, they've placed 6 referrals in the last 8 months for clients coming to the US that are in Bermuda. So they're utilizing their sites to drive traffic internationally the other way. All right, back to this page. Again, that's just going to scroll through those various listings. Then I get to feature testimonials. I get some options. If I don't have testimonials, I can choose to hide this section. And maybe I don't have testimonials at all. Or I can choose to go through and add my testimonials. So I've added in this testimonial from Tony Tiger that says I'm great. And that shows up there under feature testimonials. As easy as clicking the plus button to add testimonials, or going through my drop down, I have some that are already in here.
Where did the testimonials come from?
These particular testimonials came from Testimonial Capture. So good question. Although I can just add in testimonials as well.
Just type it in.
So you can just type
I can
it
just
in.
click the plus button and I can go through and I can start to create a new testimonial right here. Create new testimonial. Again, I can give star rating and I can put all this information based on whatever my clients gave me. So this has been a good way for those of you that have captured testimonials, maybe at the closing or post-closing, and you don't have a system for it. You can enter that in as a new testimonial and then feature it on your site. I've had some that have testimonials in other sites they've used and have chosen to bring them in.
Would you be cautious on how you put the names in there?
So it's displayed as first name, last initial. So even though I've got Tony Tiger, it shows up in my page as, and just to show you on a bigger screen. And all of a sudden I clicked on the wrong button. Let's do that again. There we go. Now what I see, I'm not seeing, I have my testimonials turned off. That's why we're not seeing them. All right, so we'll go back there. It's kind of hard to see, but it says Tony T at the bottom.
Okay.
Other questions on testimonials?
There's one on there.
That's on his preview page, I think. So
No,
Yeah, it's just on my preview page right now.
we asked how to like capture those.
Is there an option for clients to leave their testimonial via your site?
There are some options to add a testimonial page, and I think we'll have time to still get to that too.
Okay.
All right, and then I've got my buyer's guide. So I've also chosen to have my buyer's guide hidden at this point. I could also enable it, where they're going to see my buyer's guide show up on the page, walking them through what is that first time home buyer process. And again, I can edit it. I can go through the steps of a buyer's guide. I can add more steps if I choose to. At this point, for me personally, I found this to be a little overwhelming on the homepage. So I chose to go up to the item. I chose to go up to the top and go to hide instead of display.
And is there a preset buyer's guide in there, it looks like?
There is. Yep, I've got my preset buyer's guide.
You can edit it though?
And I can edit my buyer's guide as well. One other note on here, and I'll go back because testimonials came up as a question. When I go back to my page, I do actually get a whole section for testimonials. So I can see the testimonials that were captured before from my previous version of Command. And then, as I mentioned, I can add new ones. All right, so back to this, cover one other piece. It's a lot, I know, and yet I didn't make a lot of changes here to have the site that I have. I also have the About Me section that I can add, yet I do want to click on testimonials because that was a question. And when I click on testimonials, it's just a quick add in testimonials section. So it's done manually at this point on this page.
So you can't right now send a link out and have somebody fill it out and it just pulls it in.
Currently, that was done through landing pages and from my previous agent site.
Okay.
So I do have to focus on other ways to capture at the moment. Although we're expecting that to change quite quickly. All right, last section. I'll turn for questions. My agent profile. What do I want to appear here? So I can choose, do I want to display or hide it? I don't know why I'd want to hide my agent information yet. I guess I could choose to hide that if I would want to. What are my details? Do I want to display or hide those? My agent bio, do I want to display or hide them? Then the last section that I did want to point out, I do have a section now for preferred vendors. Now, a little bit of this is still a work in progress, yet we're adding in, and you should have this ability, and Nicole, correct me if I'm wrong, and yet you should be able to add in your list of preferred vendors to this site.
I have noticed that some of our agents haven't had access to put their preferred vendors in, but some of them have. So it's doing a slow rollout is what we've heard.
Got it. Great. So it may not have hit all of you yet. How I do this is I do click on the link here to add my vendor information. It's going to pop up a different modal altogether or a different page altogether. And I can go through and start to add my vendors if I would choose to.
And that's for the agent-specific vendors, not necessarily the market centers vendors.
That's correct. And as this continues to develop, I'm sure Nicole will continue to help you with training on this as we add out more information. The long-term goal of this, or a short-term goal would be, is there an option over time to have some level of monetization for advertising a vendor? I don't know if that's allowed or not in your state, so I'm not going to speak to that either way, other than it will be available to add the vendors themselves and to display them.
Okay.
All right. Questions. I said a lot, and I know you're so all excited to talk about technology this morning.
What I love on it for an older fart is it's easy. I mean, the system makes sense rather than trying to build different things. So I like it because it's very user friendly. You know, that's what I'm seeing of it that I'm excited about.
Yeah, and I think to that point, it's also visually appealing. Even making just a few changes, the site is updated. It looks better. In my experience as a consumer, I have a better usability. I actually use my agent site as a consumer all the time to search for properties.
Also, did you all notice it's not under the tab called website, it's called consumer, because you've got to keep thinking about it, about how the consumer is looking at it, not, oh, it's all about me. It's how the consumer is going to use it. I love that. That's a subtle thing they did, but I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, great call out, Mike. All right, any other questions on this?
Questions, online questions. So to get this transferred over, once they've saved any landing pages, they just click that button, don't they?
They just click the button. I want to transition over to the new site. There is no undo. Once you've done it, you're now in the new site experience. I don't know, Nicole, you may have heard the date, yet a date is coming in the future as to when it won't be optional to transition over.
It's November 15th.
Great. I wasn't sure if that was publicly shared or not. So thank you for sharing that.
Awesome.
So you got about a month.
Okay.
Tools for driving traffic. Great question. So easiest way to drive traffic is actually by utilizing campaigns. Great question that came in as well. So campaigns would be that way. The other way to do open house. Oh, let me share my screen. So I'll show you quickly. How do I create an open house sign in? Let's just pick a property in here. Again, we'll go to our friends in Bermuda. Only because it's getting cold and I want to see warm climates. I'm going to go to any one of these listings, click on the listing itself, and then at the top of the URL, I'm going to put a /open house and click enter. We'll give it a second. And this should create a lead capture page just for this particular unit. And we're going to get a delay because I said it was going to be easy this morning. There we go. Now I get, and I need to make an adjustment here. It says welcome to null, yet that would say welcome to property address. The reason it says null is because they don't pull in addresses worldwide. That's a disclosure here. Yet it should say the property address. And then I have an easy sign in, first name, last name, email address, phone number, and click submit. By checking that box, it has one of the compliant messages. that it allows me as the agent to contact them. They've consented to allowing me to contact them for TCPA compliant regulations. I'm not saying that this statement alone is TCPA compliant, and yet it was put there by that design. So all I did, again, went to the top of one of my listings, or any listing for that matter, put a backslash and put open house.
And you went
it created that page.
In Command or under your personal page?
I just went to my agent site page, searched for the property that I'm going to do the open house. At the end of the URL, put that backslash open house.
It's easy enough.
That's cool. And that created my customized, there we go, good example. No images because there weren't. Now I can see instead of welcome to Null, it says welcome to 142 Delaney Drive. And now I have an open house sign up that I could pull up on my tablet or my desktop or my laptop at an open house.
What happens once it's filled in and you submit? Does it just, where does it go?
Great question. So we've got Joe with 3 O's, Smith with a couple I's, and he is at timbeverlynplus@gmail.com. We're going to give him a fictitious phone number and click submit. Whoop, I need to check that box as a consumer. And now I get click submit, takes them to this page where they can scan that QR code to look at more information for that property. Again, on my agent site, navigating back to Command, I got 2 things that happen. Number 1 is I got a notification on my phone that I have a new lead. And number 2, in Command, I got a bell notification that I have a new lead.
Cool.
So it happened immediately. So I can be at the open house. Great way to look at it. Oh, by the way, Joe, you're still here. Just want to make sure the number you entered, that's your phone number. That's the best number to contact you. It could reduce the number of fictitious things you get into your Command account.
And then does it blank out for the next client or customer that comes in the door?
Good question. So if I want to go back in, I could just reset that page. I do need to reset that page each time.
How do you do that?
So back into that page, you're not seeing my screen, so it's going to be difficult. I just went up to the URL and hit enter. And it refreshed that page.
You'd have to do that on every consumer that came into the house.
So once they sign in, just have them refresh that page.
Okay.
Correct.
So just like he just did a fake name, I would do a fake open house on one of your listings or one of our listings and just practice it and try, practice before you start surgery on people, like we always say, So do your own fake open house, put them in and see what the whole process is. That way you can kind of see them before you get live in front of people.
We've had good, positive feedback so far on those that have utilized it for open houses. All right, any other questions? Sorry, I went a little bit long, Mike.
Oh, you're great. Okay, everybody remember, this is recorded. It'll go onto the YouTube page. So if you need to go back and look over this, but do it a couple times before you actually go out to an open house. And what's the trick on emails? If you add something to it, to like your own personal email, or it becomes a fake?
You can always add plus after your email. So my email address is timbeverlyn@gmail.com. If I put in Tim Beverlyn plus any combination of numbers at gmail.com, it still goes to the same email address, yet allows me to utilize that same one over and over again. There's probably a fancy name for it that someone younger than me can describe.
Any other questions online?
Yeah, I've got one.
Oh, Jim.
Can you bring him back in November?
Bring him back in November?
Yeah. Oh.
Once you're forced to make the change, yeah, we could come back for sure. We could do more of these. I will put one other note in there. This is accurate information as of October 17th. So I realize this is being recorded. This could change, and it likely will change over time. But based on today, this is the most accurate information we have on the site.
I say late November.
Yeah, we can definitely get him.
Because that way, we'll do that November 15th date that Nicole stated. Everybody's maybe has used it by then, and then there will be multiple questions, I'm sure.
I love it. We can do a whole class on it. We can fly you in for a Chiefs game and get you.
Even better. I heard there's a game on November 20th that I'm looking forward to. So that'd be pretty good timing.
All right, we'll work that out. So.
All right, yeah, anything at all I can do, please let me know. Mike or Rachel, feel free to share my contact information.
Okay.
Thanks for the time this morning, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Ted.
everyone.
Give him a round of applause. He is so helpful. Screen here for a second, maybe. Yep. Get this to work. So we end everyone with this question: what are your action items? Knowledge without implementation is just entertainment. So are you just entertained, or do you have some things you can use now? Anybody online?
I have things I can use.
Same
Cool.
website stuff.
And again, we'll have this available. Nicole knows all this stuff in and out. And like we said, it's changing daily. And she's on at least weekly calls where they're telling her the new rollouts that are coming. So, all right, next week, tax strategies for 2023 and 2024. Keep more of your money. That's our goal for all of you, to make a lot of money and to keep it, because money is good for the good it can do. So the more you can use it in your family, your communities, all that, it is awesome. Thanks again for being here. We've had a lot of people online and people in-house here. Remember, it is 9/27 each week. And thank you so much. Have an awesome week. Yeah. Hey.